Greetings, NOPGA members, officers, apprentices, office staff, sales reps, and guests. Due to several projects I'm working on, this acceptance speech has been pre-recorded at my home in Palm Desert, California. First, I'd like to congratulate Tom Waitrovich on his induction today. He's an outstanding PGA professional and well-deserving of this recognition. Next, I would like to thank Hall of Famer Tom Fusaro for agreeing to present my induction. When I asked him to speak on my behalf, he said, "Well, I guess somebody's going to have to do it. If you get me a good cigar and a decent bottle of scotch, I'm in." So thanks again, Tom. I consider my induction into the Hall a tremendous honor and a privilege, and the frosting on the cake of my 40-year career. I started as a PGA apprentice at the age of 22 and retired as a master professional and a life member at the age of 62. Except for my first 3 years working at courses in Tampa, Florida, my entire career was in Northern Ohio. I spent 2 years as the pro manager at Western Reserve, which was the old Colonial Hills golf course. It was in Sharon Center and it's now a housing development. I then had the opportunity to be tutored for 7 years as an assistant to a legend at the Oakwood Club. George Bigham became a dear friend, mentor, and business partner. He is still missed by many of us. I spent the next 28 years as the head pro at Portage Country Club in Akron. It's always hard to believe that the likes of Al Espinoza, Denny Shute, and Herm Kaiser had worked there before me. Portage is a special place, and I feel blessed for my time there. One of the reasons I decided to retire is this. I was the 8th professional at a club founded in 1894. The longest tenured of the previous pros was Denny, with 27 years. I figured with 29 years being the next benchmark, my record of service would be hard to beat. It's my understanding Steve Parker is going to give it a run though. If you do the math, he may have his work cut out for him. As all of you know, the golf business requires long hours and includes most weekends. I was fortunate my wife Sandy and my daughter Brittany understood this and never made me feel I was neglecting them. So a big part of what I was able to accomplish during my career was due to their support, and I thank them. I've had the opportunity to work at public, university, resort, and private courses. One of the things I learned along the way was it didn't matter where you worked as long as you were friendly, courteous, knowledgeable, and enthusiastic. Because of this, people were more than likely to give you the benefit of the doubt if you made a mistake, and very likely to go out of their way to help you be successful. By the time I got to Portage, I'd learned another valuable lesson. It was to surround myself with the most talented staff available. It was especially important to hire people whose strengths offset my weaknesses. For example, early on at Portage, I went to a calligraphy seminar in Florida. After 2 days, when I still couldn't draw a circular cloud to get it to close, my instructor whispered in my ear, "Always have someone on your staff that can do calligraphy." I also tried to find assistants who were better players than I was. Larry Mansky once mentioned to me he didn't think that was too difficult to do. Can you believe that? Anyway, when any of my staff did something well, I got credit for finding them. I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you a couple of quick stories that you might find interesting. Most of you probably don't know that Dominic and Eileen are Brittany's godparents. You also probably don't know that a nickname for Dominic was Choo Choo. You see, many years ago, several of us were teaching in the Great Lakes Golf School in Lehigh Acres, Florida. Dominic was kind of the leader and he liked to tease a lot. So one day, Eileen agreed to let me in their house while Dom was taking his morning shower. I had a bucket of ice water. When I dumped it on him over the shower curtain, he went from singing a song to, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, ooh." That was so much fun. Most of you know Joe Flogg, or as some say, Floget. Joe was always a fine player, but an even better joke and storyteller. We'd get through playing a tournament and head to the club bar. We'd all gather around and laugh at his stories and jokes. The more we laughed, the more he got into it. The best part was when it came time to leave, Joe always picked up the tab. We would offer to share, but he never let us. I got to where I would call the section office to see if I could get a tee time close to Joe's. Do you know, in the 20 years I played in those tournaments, I don't think I ever paid for a drink. Thanks again, Joe, and you really are funny. The Palm Springs Golf Academy has been a big part of my life. I enjoyed having our NOPGA professionals get to enjoy some warm weather in a nice environment, and all the while help people with their golf games. It's kind of ironic we did the school for 35 years and 35 golf professionals were involved. My first thought was always about the professionals. If they were treated with respect and felt appreciated, the students would be the beneficiary. Many times we had the golf professionals give a clinic of some sort during the coffee break. Most of you know Charlie Wood has been one of our section's all-time great players, and he's just a great person. Well, one day he was giving a bunker clinic for the whole group. After hitting some sand shots, one of the students asked if he could hit that shot with a pitching wedge. Charlie said sure. He then asked if anyone had a pitching wedge with them. A man said, I do, but I'm left-handed. Charlie said, that's okay, give it to me. Charlie turned around and then left-handed, splashed the sand. The ball arced out of the bunker, landed on the green, and rolled a foot from the hole. Charlie then handed the club to Fisaro, who was in the bunker with him. Tom was nervous, but he took the club and then left-handed, splashed the sand, and hit the ball 2 feet from the hole. The students went crazy. After the clinic, Tom told Charlie, I've never done that before. And then Charlie told Tom, neither have I. Amazing stuff. The last story involves Jack McKelvey. Jack's been a great player, great teacher, and pretty much the consummate golf professional. Well, Jack also likes to go to the casino now and then. After a long day of teaching and a few cocktails, Jack would say to me, I'm going to head off to the casino. Are you feeling lucky? I'd say, sure. Then he'd say, give me $50, and off he'd go. I'd see him the next morning and ask, how'd you do at the casino? He'd say, pretty good. Then I'd say, how'd I do? He would say, unfortunately, you had a bad night. You lost. So the next time he'd say, I'm going to the casino. Are you feeling lucky? I'd say, okay, I'll try again. The next morning I'd ask, Jack, how'd you do last night? He'd say, I did all right. I'd say, good, how about me? He'd say, I thought you were on a roll, but then you got snake bit. Do you know this went on for 8 or 9 years and I never got $1 back? I know what you're thinking. Lastly, on a serious note, golf has been good to me. It has allowed me to meet people, travel to interesting places, have a variety of experiences, and interact with other professionals, all while earning a living and providing for my family. For example, I've played golf in Ireland, Scotland, Portugal, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and many places in the United States. I've given lessons to people from many places around the world. I was fortunate to write a few articles for Golf Magazine. One of those articles, The One Penny Lesson, was reprinted in German, Italian, Japanese, and Spanish. One of my favorite memories is partnering with Don Pernay to give seminars to PGA sections regarding resumes, interviews, and contracts. I also enjoyed coaching high school golf teams and was able to help 2 girls' golf teams to win state championships. I don't know if there's such a thing as a formula for success, but I believe this. If you go to work every day and try your best to make a difference, you'll have the greatest potential for success. It doesn't matter what part or parts of the golf business you're involved in to have this work for you. You might put together a unique membership drive or a new advertising campaign to increase play or generate more revenue. Or you could promote a special kind of tournament or a clever and different way to merchandise. You could develop new clinics or find innovative ways to introduce men, women, and children to the game of golf. The point is, if you try to make a difference, you'll have a better chance for success than if you don't. I know the golf business has changed dramatically since I started it more than 40 years ago. The world has changed and the challenges are many, but golf will survive as it had since 1457. It will survive especially with the help of those of you still trying to make a difference. Well, that's it from out here in the California desert. Once again, thank you for this great honor. It's truly special. I hope to see many of you the next time I come to visit in Northern Ohio.